All right, guys, what's up? We're on our way to go see Nick at Lowrider Depot. I'm cruising myself. I'm gonna meet up with Tony. I think he was off collecting money from somewhere or something like that. You know how it is. Must be nice. Lowrider Depot. I already did my intro. I said you were off picking up money. Must be nice.
That's why I was
As
late.
always, yeah.
Driving the Brinks truck.
What's up, guys? It's Tony from the Summer Send-Off Car Show.
And Jamie from Street Trends Metal Art. And today we're here with Nick from Lowrider Depot.
All my friends know the lowrider. The lowrider is a little higher.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
What's going on? Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming out.
All right, so we're here at the Lowrider Depot warehouse. What exactly is this warehouse?
So this is our stocking warehouse. We stock a bunch of airlift products, AccuAir, basically anything air ride, coilovers, lowering springs, lift kits, anything aftermarket suspension for several cars, trucks, SUVs. Anything that you guys order from us gets shipped out of here. You can also come and pick stuff up from here.
Nice.
Is it like local only or national?
No, we're national, also international. We do have customers in Turks and Caicos. We also ship to some people in New Zealand, Australia, sent some stuff to Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah, all over.
That's dope. Now, do you guys work on projects in-house, or how do you guys go about doing the business? Are you guys just a wholesaler, a seller, or do you guys actually install air ride, all that stuff? Do you guys do that here?
So we are just a wholesaler and retailer. We don't do any installs at this time. It is something that we did do in the past, but at the moment we just focus on the wholesale and the retail side and try and support the other people in the area, like Stop and Stance, Dave, Sudden Impact Custom. Those guys do installs, and you can go get your air ride installed, serviced by them. So we try and supply them with the parts, or you guys with the parts, and then there's several people that we work with in the area or all across the country that we could put you in touch with for an install.
Nice.
Do you ever miss like not doing the installs?
Yes. I'm happiest in my headspace is either like on the computer or like working with my hands, and like tearing into a car and doing an air ride install is something I really enjoy. Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah. Lowrider Depot, just you, or is it like a chain, or is it something that like your family started?
Yeah, so it's a family business. We started in 2004 in this same location. We didn't have the small shop that we're in right now with the 3 bays. It was just the warehouse. We expanded this and the machine shop when we were making parts, bag brackets, 4 links, 6 links, control arms, stuff like that. Fortunately, we kind of had to close all that stuff down right when COVID happened. Steel and aluminum went through the roof, and a lot of people started getting plasma tables and plasma cutters and stuff. And you know, those tools are great, and it's great that people have access to them. But when we have the overhead of the warehouse and you know the 24 something employees that we employ here, you know, our overhead and our costs are just not the same as somebody who's working out of, you know, say a 3 bay or a 1 bay shop that has a plasma table, and you know their expenses are making sure that they're fed and their bills are paid and that they can still turn a profit, whereas we've got a lot more going on.
How long have you been working here at Lowrider Depot?
I worked here a lot in like middle school and high school, just packing boxes, sweeping the floors, taking orders, working with people at the counter. Over the past 5 years or so, I've kind of come back and started revamping our website, doing a lot of stuff on the back end in terms of like our data structure and whatnot. So hoping to have a new website ready to launch within the next year or two, and that should help streamline a bunch of stuff for all of our customers, because you know our website is great and it was set up forever ago, but it definitely lacks some features that our competitors have, and you know it's not the easiest thing to use.
Yep.
So if a customer's off the street that wants something, do you suggest they go to like a shop like Dave or something like that, or are they able to come here and get pieces?
So people can come here and buy parts. We don't have like a showroom, so there's nowhere for someone to come in and walk around per se.
You can't really pick something off the
Yeah, I can't really have people pick stuff off the shelves just because we have an open warehouse, bunch of parts on the shelves. I might be able to bring some stuff up to the counter for you if it's, you know, not in a box or whatever, but it's best to either know what you're going to get before you get here, or if you give us a call, One of us might be able to meet you up at the counter with everything that you're looking for. We can compare some stuff, go over some details.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for like nitty gritty and getting questions answered, give us a call, send us an email, or if you want to talk to somebody in person, you could, like you said, go by Dave, Sudden Impact or Stop and Stance, or you could, give me a call and we can set something up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would definitely recommend.
Getting a hold of a shop.
Yeah.
And then getting a grocery list.
Yep, figure out everything you need, and then we are happy to see if we can save you a few bucks.
Yep.
Do you deal with all aspects of lowrider, or is it like just air ride? Like, do you guys do like the coilovers things, the any
Hydraulics,
all the,
anything
hydraulics,
like
all
that.
that stuff?
Yeah, so recently we started carrying the Hoppo stuff, pumps, power balls, cylinders, basically anything that you'd need to put a car on juice. We also do coilovers, lowering springs, lift kits. We also do those like big air ride lift kits that you see for like F250s, F450s.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys who are like 6 feet up in the air and then come down to like 4 feet up in the air. Yep, we can get that stuff too. We also do wheels and tires. We don't really push that stuff because it isn't super popular. We don't have a ton of people hitting us up for it, but it is something that we can get.
Okay.
So since you've been in the suspension game, I guess, for so long, you've probably seen the differences from like I remember when I was in high school, it was air cylinders.
Cylinders, yeah.
Everybody
I
had
still
air
have some of
cylinders.
those on the shelf.
Do you what have you seen? What do you think is the biggest change from like when the hydraulics and air cylinders first came out to like how it is now?
I mean, I think the consumer drove most of the change because it used to be like, these products like air springs and air cylinders, hydraulic cylinders, like they all existed and they all have purposes, outside of automotive applications. Like, you'll see a hydraulic cylinder on anything that is heavy equipment or large machinery that moves.
Yep.
Plows.
Yeah, plows,
18
tractors,
wheelers.
18-wheelers. I mean, it's still all automotive related, but I can't think of anything not automotive related that uses hydraulic cylinders, but I know there is.
Elevators?
Elevators,
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, anyway, all that stuff is used in other places in our lives, just like the black DOT airline that you see. Not only do we use that, but it's also used with truckers, aquariums, in your house, bunch of different places. So it used to be more that like people there wasn't a kit for your car. You had to figure out what you were trying to do and what parts were out there and available that you could kind of jerry-rig together.
Yep.
Or make something. And then some of these people figured out how to make something or jerry-rig something together, and they did it well enough that they could reproduce it. And then you started seeing bag brackets. Airlift started coming out with the bolt-on struts for a bunch of different vehicle applications. So I think the bolt-on stuff really drove a lot of the innovation that you see in the market, where people wanted, they didn't want to have to do so much like thinking and planning and guessing.
Yep.
Whereas it kind of opened up the floor for all these companies to come in and be like, I have a product for your needs, where
Yep.
it was like a factory bolt-in replacement for your suspension.
Yep.
And it replaced that standard strut and spring with a damper and an air spring.
Okay. Have you done any of the air ride installs that have come in and out of here?
I've worked on some of them. The last time we did an install was, I don't know, probably like 2010 maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. We did have Manny Ramirez's Lincoln in here. It had a 460 in it.
Nice.
That thing was pretty sweet. Bagged, blue on blue.
I don't
Blue
know if
interior.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I think it had a
That
blue
would be
interior. I
sick.
could be wrong.
That
But yeah,
would
we
be
had
sick.
that in here for a little while. Just doing somebody else had bagged it, and we were just kind of cleaning up a bunch of the messiness, which is part of another reason that we kind of got out of it too, is we didn't have a lot of people coming to us to do a fresh install.
Yep.
We had a lot of people who would
To
want to
fix-
buy
fix.
parts from us at a discounted rate, bring it to somebody
Somewhere
for a
else.
cheap install, and then come back
yeah.
to
Get it
fix
fixed.
everything.
Hey, everything got messed up.
yeah.
We need you to fix it.
Or
Yeah,
everything you sold me doesn't work, but
Yeah. Yep.
it,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, 9 times out of 10, it was usually install error.
Yep.
Do you think the quality now has far exceeded how it used to be? Because I feel like when I had my car on cylinders, I feel like I was fixing it like every 4 months.
I hated. I had cylinders and I would drive, and I didn't have the gauges.
I didn't either. Yeah.
I just felt the car, and I'm like, okay, my car's doesn't feel right. I got to lift it up, whatever it was.
I had
But
like a
the
code.
cylinders just wobbled.
Yeah.
The cylinders just wobbled like all the time, and I'm like, dude, this is driving me crazy.
Well, they would round out too. Like
Yep.
the piston would round.
But now
out.
I get in my Honda and I have bags. I have airlift bags and smoothest ride. So
Yeah, like I said, the consumer drove a lot of that stuff because the air cylinders, they work. And like I said, a lot of people were kind of like jerry-rigging stuff together. It isn't stuff that is meant to work with your car.
Yeah.
Well, when I
But
got
it
when I
can.
got them, they didn't have anything for my car. I had a Stratus. They had nothing. And
Yep.
the guy, I remember Steve was like, "Oh, I'm gonna build something, and we'll make it work."
Yep.
And that's what it was. And I had
Yeah.
issues all the time.
And that a lot of the early 2000s was just making it work because there weren't companies like Airlift, or I don't want to say there weren't because they were around, but they weren't producing, you know, bolt-in OEM replacement air struts for, you know, the thousands of cars they do today.
Yep.
I miss the old stuff because I would raise it up. I'd be like, all right, I'm all the way up, 2 down. I'll drop it, and I would just drive, and that was it. And then when I got my Lincoln bag with the airlift control, I was fucking blown away. I was like, felt like I was holding an iPhone, which now I actually do have an iPhone because it has the app.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like this. I didn't like it at all. Now I like it, but I didn't like it at first.
I had all brass. The 10 valves. I had all brass.
Yeah, I had 8 in the El Camino.
on the back seat, so you fold down the back seat, and I had all the brass, and then the car went up and down too fast, so I had to put the corks in
I
it
had to do that
to
too,
slow
yeah.
it down,
I did
and then
that.
you have to like, you know, twist it in. It's too slow, and then go back and then like adjust it. The only thing I do miss, and I would love to find one, and I've talked to Dave about it, is I want the 10 switch box.
That's what I want.
Oh, we can still get those.
I want.
Yeah, we
I'll
can
buy
still
one.
get those.
I want
I'll
one
buy
just to
one.
put on the shelf.
I don't need it. I don't need it. Like, you know, I only have four
Valves,
switches,
yeah.
but
Throw an air horn on there and just
all
wire it.
I want is I just miss the box. Like, you know, 10-foot long cord hanging out
I
of
didn't
the
even
car.
have to look at it. I knew all the controls by heart. I love that.
I'll definitely buy one just for the nostalgia purposes. The last one I seen was on eBay, and Dave was like, "Don't buy it." I'm like, I just want to buy it just to buy it. You know, like I'm not buying it to put 10, you know, switches, but that's the one thing that I miss about it is the valve box. I love that.
I had the El Camino had a tank under behind the back seat. There's like a little cubby area. There's a tank back there with like 8 individual valves. And then we started selling AccuAir stuff, and my dad was like, "Oh, we're gonna change it out to the AccuAir R9." And this was before the current square manifold or the current square ECU that they have. They had like a little rectangle. There's the R9 and then the R10. They made a few changes to like the programming in it or something. And then they came out with that little square ECU. But the jumping from the 8 valves to the R9 ECU was, like you said, it was mind blowing. Like being able to like use my phone or like Bluetooth to like raise and lower my car, and it was crazy, dude. Going from like these 8 clunky big valves that stuck like this far off my tank to a manifold block that was like this big, and it just looked so much nicer. And again, that also driven by the consumer. Like everybody liked putting speakers in their trunk, but if you had air ride
Oh yeah, take it.
and speakers, is like, what do you do? Because like the air ride doesn't look pretty, but you still want to show, because you need, you know, your 8 individual valves and all the wires running to each individual valve versus just the manifold block that has the one plug and all your lines running to it. It kind of, you know, gave people another thing to show off.
Yeah, that was one thing when, you know, I try to keep my accord period correct, but that was one thing that I wouldn't budge on. I was like, I don't want the air management. I don't want that. I want to feel the car and go, all right, my car is lifted up as high as I think it can. I have gauges now. I'm moving up. I have gauges now.
All that money you got now.
Yeah, I just didn't want the management system because I didn't, you know, I like feeling the car and knowing, like driving down the street and go, all right, my car's a little off. I feel, and look over and going, all right, I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even when I did do the R9 and the R10 stuff, you could, you know, basically kill the smart management.
Yep.
And you would be the management, and I can't tell you for how long I ran that thing like that without using the ECU or without using the level sensors. I would just put it up to the height that I knew it rode at, and I would drive it around. And I even had like a kill switch for my my switch box.
Okay.
So I could just leave it on the seat and not worry about something, because I had a bench seat, so people would always be moving around, and if somebody sat on it, nothing would happen.
Well, so now it's a lot more accessible, and there's a lot more applications for it. Because I mean, I remember back in the day, it was a car pulled in with air ride or hydraulics, and you're like, holy shit. And now you go to a show, and
If it doesn't have air
It
ride,
seems like
why
you
is
have
it
to
here?
have it's a requirement.
Well,
now.
that's what you do. You bag it in wheels and you're done now. Right?
Yeah.
That's the new style.
I saw not too long ago on Instagram that you were down in Florida. What was the name of that show?
That show is called Eastbound Get Down.
Everyone, this is Nick with Lowrider Depot. We're down here at Eastbound Get Down show in Florida this weekend, checking out some absolutely insane builds. I'm going to be taking some photos and videos, so if you see me, feel free to grab me, or you can send a message to the Lowrider Depot page, and we can get something set up. Enjoy your weekend, everyone.
It's in Ormond Beach, which is like 15 minutes from Daytona.
Okay.
They do it at the Destination Daytona complex. It's like a big Harley dealership. So the show is so big, like big in volume and also space, that like they have a whole audio section where like if you walk over there, your chest is vibrating and like the ground under you, there's like gonna be an earthquake, dude. Like it is so loud and it's impressive. It's crazy, but like personally, I don't like hearing that the entire day I'm at the show, because like it hits your body, dude. If you're there for like 4 to 6 hours, dude.
You feel like you just left the gym and you're
Or
like, I just sat at the show all day. I didn't do anything.
Or like I was just at a music festival and like, bro, I just wanted to
Your
come look at some
ears
cars
are just
and
ringing afterwards.
Don't get me wrong, I like it. There's a time and a place for it, like at Eastbound Get Down. So they have a whole section that's just audio, and then there's the whole other section that's just car stuff. But they're close enough in proximity, and the way that the buildings are, like I can be standing at my booth and see the audio stuff, but I can't hear it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So like the show is so vast, and there's so much to check out that like you can go over there and hang out and like get your head drilled with bass for like a few hours, and then walk back to the other side and just hang out. Yeah, just hang out in peace and be quiet, and kick out your hotel room or whatever. They've got a complex there too, a hotel complex. So they do rooms there. There's a bar there.
We talked a little bit off camera. Do you like that was like more of a mini truck show, full size truck show, or was it a mixture of everything?
It's kind of a bit of a mixture of everything, but it's definitely geared towards like full size mini truck lowrider.
Okay.
There are some. There's like a Chrysler C200 that Dave Sudden Impact actually did the trunk in like forever ago. So it was really cool seeing that thing in Florida. I like threw it on the Lowrider story, and he messaged me. He's like, I did the trunk in that thing like 10 years ago. It's really cool still seeing it, out in the wild.
Now, do you have a preference in, like, you like modified cars, trucks, and everything? Do you have a preference, or do you just appreciate the quality or the trying? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there, or do you like mini trucks? Do you like imports? Do you have a preference? Or?
I think that the effort is really what does it for me the most.
Effort?
Like, it could be anything. If somebody like went all out on it and like put a ton of heart and soul into it, and like even if it's not like super pretty, like that Impala, that 604, that gold Impala that the Ruined Rides Fab guys have, that thing is immaculate. But then we've also got like Jamie's International that's just got a bunch of gnarly shit welded to it, and that thing like gets me going just as much, dude. Like I love cool, unique, weird stuff that like you don't see everywhere, and when somebody like really tries, you can definitely see it reflect in the car, and then when you get to talk to them about it too, you get to hear about how excited they were to do X, Y, and Z to it, or like the journeys that they went on when they were getting parts for it, or like what they had to do to make X, Y, and Z happen that otherwise wouldn't have been able to happen.
Yep. Dope.
Have you ever seen something bagged that you were like, that's insane that they did that? Like I've seen a golf cart recently, and then a shopping carriage. Like you ever seen anything that you're like, Jesus Christ? I seen a shopping carriage that was bagged.
What was the wildest thing that was bagged? Oh, what was it? A Reliant Robin. Those little fucking, or no, it was a Rialto. It wasn't a Reliant. It was a Rialto, which is like the newer version of the Reliant. It's a three-wheeled like Euro car.
Okay.
One wheel in the front, two wheels in the back. I think they offered it in a two-seater, and you sit in it like
Urcomobile.
Yeah, like the Urcomobile. You sit behind me.
That's freaking awesome.
And then the Rialto was a side-by-side. But yeah, there was one of those that was on Air Ride, and that was probably the most unique thing that I had seen in person on Air Ride.
Oh, no shit. Do you remember where that was?
SEMA.
SEMA?
Yeah.
Oh, SEMA has.
Oh, you go out to SEMA too then? Oh, okay.
Not in fucking forever. I think like 2000. No, I was in high school, so 2012 probably was the last time I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a bunch of terrible photos, and they like pop up on my memories sometimes, and I'm like, wow, I had no idea what I was doing.
Do you have a show that you enjoy to go that you tell people like if you're gonna go to a show, that's the one that you have to go to?
I mean, it's tough because I feel like it depends on what you're into.
Yeah.
Because like if you're into Euro cars and you're on this side of the country, go to Alpine Volks Fair. Like that show is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hanging out in Helen and just like being around all like the Austrian stuff and like seeing a bunch of Euro cars in the mountains, and it's all foggy and the weather's really nice and the food's really good and the people are really nice. That's a good show. Mini Nats in North Carolina if you're into mini trucks. Again, it's just a weekend of hanging out on a strip in the mountains, and everybody's really nice and polite, and there's just so many cool cars and trucks to check out.
Yeah.
Talk about,
Oh, Crew Cut. I got to ride in Crew Cut at Mini Nats. You know what that is? You know what Crew Cut is?
No.
no.
So everybody knows what it is as of lately because Gas Monkey like bought it and like redid it.
Oh, the green one.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
came out at what was it? Was it wrestling? Was it a wrestling event or?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Was it-
yeah. Jake Paul or Logan
the
Paul or
Tyson
whatever
fight.
came out.
Oh yeah. When he
yeah,
fought
I do.
Mike
Yeah, I do.
Tyson. Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Oh, that's
yes,
freaking
that
cool.
one,
Yeah, so that thing came out for that fight. I totally forgot about that. But that truck was built like I think late '90s, early 2000s originally, and like I remember sweeping floors here, and like we had like magazine clippings of it like hanging up and stuff, and it was just like
Years later, you're in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
It was so cool seeing it, like driving up and down the strip. And the guy who owns it is really nice. And he's offering people rides all weekend at Mini Nats. And
Dope.
I'm standing there on the side of the road with my girlfriend Haley, Chris Foster, Bill Tucker, and their girlfriends, and we're all just watching cars and trucks go up and down the strip, dragging and whatnot, throwing sparks. And then Crew Cut comes by. And he goes, "You guys want to ride?" And all three of us just like ran over there like little kids and stuff. And like we had all like just opened drinks too. And he goes, "No drinks." All three of us just like chuck them in the woods and hop in that car. Dude, that thing can move. For a 6-row dually, that thing can move. It was honestly a little scary sitting all the way in the back. You're up a little higher because of the tub for the wheels. So like all the way in the back, you're kind of like on like that much of a seat with like that much backrest. And he puts his foot down in there, and you're like,
But that nostalgia of
dude, yeah,
being
it was
in
so cool being in that truck.
Nice. It's good to see that it's still alive,
Well, I think it's cool, like even like when you go to SEMA, you see all these cars that you see on Instagram or everything, and then when you see it in person, it's just cool to see that stuff.
Yeah.
I think you get to appreciate the build. Do you guys have a season, like an off season, or are you guys busy all year, or is there like a certain time of year that you guys are like, oh shit, we're slammed? Like I would imagine maybe winter, spring is when everybody's doing their orders or something like that.
Starting
Getting
to
their
get
cars
their
ready for
starting
for
to get
the
their ducks
season.
in a row.
Or is it pretty consistent?
It's fairly consistent. Things do kind
Well,
of.
you're national also.
Yeah.
That's
So like
Different
when it's
seasons,
off
different
season for
places.
us here,
Yeah.
we're also doing a little bit better somewhere else. So yeah, it's fairly consistent. I would say like spring and summer is probably when we see the biggest jump. In the
uptick.
winter, people kind of die off as much as you'd think that's when. Just like me, as much as I should have been working on that thing the past few months, it's just been. I took the front bumper off and started pulling the engine out and the harness, and now it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you would think everybody would be buying stuff in the winter, but there's also everything else you got to deal with in the winter that you don't have to deal with in the summer.
Yep. No, so hopefully you should be seeing an uptick
Yeah.
in orders from shops soon.
Yep.
Locally around here.
Yep. Also, the Airlift does a spring and fall sale every year.
Okay.
So usually around those times, we definitely see an uptick because the Airlift products are cheaper than they normally would be.
Okay, so you also do photography. How'd you get into that?
So, I mean, like, I don't know when I got into it. I just kind of remember having a camera in my hands one day.
Yep.
And it's kind of just been like that ever since.
Was it something that you just kind of
Yeah, it's just something
fell
that I
into,
picked-
like, oh, I
yeah.
like taking pictures, and then...
Yeah, me and my friends used to go skateboard a lot around town, and we'd go into Boston sometimes, and like I would just have a camera and take pictures. I'd also skate a little, wasn't as good. It's probably why I took the pictures. But yeah, I mean, like ever since that, it kind of just went from skateboarding to cars when I was younger, and then like I kind of realized that there is like a commercial market for photography. It's not just something that you can do as a hobby.
Yep.
Went to school for it, graduated top of my class, worked for a studio in Northborough for a little while. We did shoots for like Honeywell, Vicks, Eureka, Pure, basically like home commodities. We also did like some kitchenware, like knives, pots and pans, cookware, stuff like that. But we did, I think there was probably 7 or 8 of us at the largest, and we would do almost everything in-house, from like set design to set building, the actual shoot, post-production, file delivery, like, you know, everything we could do in-house, we would. My boss was a cool dude. He decided that we were going to do set production with 2x4s and 2x4 construction instead of like 1x4s. 1x4s is what you would commonly see just because they're lighter and cheaper, easier to move. So, you know, you make a bunch of fake walls and then you need to completely change the set.
Yep.
It's really easy for one person to just walk over to a 4x8
Lift
that's
it up,
made of 1x4s.
lift it up and just move it.
Yeah, versus a traditional 2x4 framed wall is like heavy.
Yep.
But at the same time, like, doing all of that is more expensive. I did also learn a lot, like, taught me a lot about, you know, how to frame a wall. I also learned how to tile a floor. I also learned how to build a bathroom and like plumb a sink and plumb a toilet.
handyman.
Yeah, literally, dude, I did so much stuff just for like practical effects, like that you would never think that you would need to do.
Yeah.
Just because you're like, oh, that's just how it happens. But like, when you're watching a commercial and someone's like dumping water down a sink, chances are it's just going into a bucket that somebody has to pull out after the shot and empty again. But yeah, I learned a lot like of like skills from woodworking to masonry, and you know, pretty much I became a master. What is it? A jack of all trades and a master of none. Yeah. I pretty much became that while I was working there, because on top of doing all like the practical stuff and working with my hands and building the sets, I was also doing like my boss owns the studio obviously, and he's like the main photographer, but I would work a second camera, or I would also be pulling focus for him, and then I'd also be dumping files, doing the DIT work, and then doing the post-production. So like I was doing a lot of different things, and that's also kind of translated into here as well. I'm doing photo here, video here. I try and get as much coverage as we can whenever we go to a show or an event. Trying to start up our own little mini interview type series as well. Still got to work on some graphics for that and whatnot, but did a few interviews when we were down in Florida. Just, you know, chatting with people about their rides and whatnot, getting some info on them. But yeah, I mean, the photo and video has been a very useful tool for this business, because obviously we need product photos.
Yep.
Obviously we need content
Social
that we're going
media,
to, social media.
yep.
Yep. So yeah, I've been really using those skills that I gained while I was working there and when I went to school and everything for this, which it's been a nice transition, but also at the same time I've had to put down a lot of that stuff to focus on a lot of other stuff, like the rest of the business, the website, you know, customer interactions, customer service, building relationships with people. So photo and video has kind of had to take a little bit of a backseat, but I would definitely like to focus on it more in the future.
Do you think social media has helped the business?
Yes, definitely. I mean, when I started, like, we were barely posting on our socials. I think we had around like 2,500 followers or something like that, and that was 4 years ago, and now we're at like 7,500, which isn't like a huge jump in 4 to 5 years, but I also really wasn't pushing to get a ton of followers. But like the analytics that I have been able to look at, just like the amount of people who have eyes on our stuff compared to 5 years ago, it's like thousands of percent
Night and day,
increase.
yeah,
Yeah,
night and day.
yeah. The graph, it looks comical because it's like a little, and then
It just skyrockets. Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot to keep up with.
it is a lot to keep
It's
up
like
with.
another full-time job.
It is,
Like, he
dude.
doesn't know anything about
You
it.
gotta
He doesn't
be like
do
me, just
anything.
not do it social media at all.
So like that's the other. I struggle with that too, because I'm like, I come in here and then I'm working on a bunch of like SQL or coding stuff for our new website, so that I can get our ERP to talk to our website, and our website to talk to our ERP, so that way when orders are placed, you know, things are happening the way they're supposed to be happening.
Yep.
So like I kind of have to like switch my brain almost to like not think about like social media marketing, photo, video, and be more of like a technical like computer coding worker, and not so much of like a work with my hands and do fun things. Not that that's not fun, but it's definitely more challenging, and having to like take time out of everything else to post on social media is just like, dude.
I
I can schedule
I'm
things.
horrible at it. He's on it all the time.
But I
he's
have to
always
be.
posted.
That's the
He's
thing.
always posting, but that's his bread and butter because that's where he
90%
gets
of my sales
his
is
sales.
online, so it's
Me, I'm like, hey guys, I'm hosting a car show in August. See you guys there. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, I work a lot too. So I'm always on a ladder, painting a building, painting this, painting, and I'm like, I take like before and after pictures. I don't do like the reels and
process
stuff like that, but I need to learn
I mean, dude,
how
it
to
takes,
do all
it
that
takes
stuff.
time.
And it's a job.
Yeah.
It's a full-time
it's a lot of
job.
work.
It's not, hey man, I'm gonna post for like a week straight and then that's it. It's you have to be consistent. And I'm not.
It's wild too, because I'll notice it like when I don't have as much on my plate and I know I can schedule out stuff for like a week or two
on social media.
Yeah, I'll get like a bunch, and I know I can post it every day because I know I won't have to be like answering the phone, sending a bunch of emails, running up to the counter, helping shipping or receiving or something else. Like I'll know that I can focus on the social media and like planning content and stuff. I'll get like, you know, a post or maybe 3 scheduled for a single day, and I'll get all those out and everything is fine, and then I won't post for one day, and literally that one day, it's wild. You'll lose like 5 to 10. I'm like, bro, I didn't. It's like, are you really watching my stuff like that? Like, you guys aren't buying stuff like that from us, but
It's pretty crazy. I feel like it's definitely an advantage because now how you guys been shipping stuff nationally? You said
To Dubai.
has it been
yeah.
for like since you guys started, or that just started recently?
no, we've definitely been shipping internationally since like 2004.
Okay.
But I will say that like I have on social media, I have had people reach out and be like, do you ship to Turks and Caicos? Do you ship to Trinidad? Do you ship to, you know, other places where or Canada? I mean, Canada's not a huge one because they're right there, but you know, it's still crossing that international
Yeah,
border.
it's still going somewhere. I mean, it's still a reach. You know, that's good. I think that's what I think you're lacking. You need to step it up in social media.
You gotta get the Canadians down here for a summer send-off, dude.
I'd love to get. One year we did. One year we did. We had a couple, and it was pouring rain. It was pouring rain. The guy was messaging me. I met him from my buddy Jeff from Race Wars. He did a show in New Hampshire, and one year they came, and then he friend requested me on Facebook, and we were talking back and forth, and he's like, I'd really like to come to the show. I'm like, dude, just come down. And he's like, you know, I see that you're doing pre-registration. I said, just come down. You're coming from Canada. I'm not going to turn you away.
Yeah.
Come to the show. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, dude, just come to the show and we'll figure it out. The morning of the show, it is pouring rain. Pouring rain. I walk out at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, holy fuck. And there's like 10 cars in the parking lot. And there's this one guy like going crazy and he's dancing in the rain. And I'm like, who is it? And it was a guy from Canada. It was him, his girl, and I want to say a buddy. Only 3 of them ended up coming, but they still made it down. And they had the best of time. They had the best of time.
Anytime we were at Wolfsky and we were camping next to the Canadians,
I would trust me. I would love to get more people, different eyes. What is it? Different eyes on the product, different eyes at the show, different people walking around. I would love to get people from Canada, Maine, up that way. So
Yeah.
So you have a good sized parking lot outside, and I've been to a couple of your events. How is that? How are the events for you?
personally, I really enjoy them. We get to meet a lot of people that I don't usually get to see. New faces are always good. It's nice to meet new people and see their rides and see if we can help them out at all. It does get a little stressful, having that many people all kind of relying on you and your crew to make sure things go okay for the day, and you kind of got to make sure a bunch of people stay happy while not directly interacting with them.
Yep.
Can be challenging, can be difficult, but it's definitely fun seeing everyone come out and support not only us but the other people that we have at the show, the other vendors that we have at the show, and just support each other as well, whether it be just coming out and cheering their friends on who are winning a trophy, or just hanging out and checking your friend's ride. Yeah.
How many years have you done an event here?
I think we've probably done about 8 to 10 or so over the last 3 years, maybe.
Okay. How was the first one for you?
First one was definitely a bit of an eye-opener in terms of the amount of people that we had here, and I thought I went really hard on the marketing, and I thought I pushed it really well, but The general public did not when, we only had a small number of cars here, but, we still tried to make the best of it. We did a few more events that year as well, like our trunk or treat. And that by that time we had definitely, brewed up some more, more people realized that like we're actually here and this is something that we do. Because for the longest time we didn't have a sign out front. We did do an event here the year before that with Stance Innovators and the Stop and Stance guys.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty
crazy.
Yeah,
I was there for that one.
I think we had about 250 or so cars.
I don't think you came to that one.
First one I came to was with my truck.
That was what?
When you parked out front by the.
Yeah,
I think that was.
They just waved me in.
That was. I think that was
the Stance Innovators one.
Was it? Oh, okay. That was the first.
No, he wasn't there for that one. He wasn't there for that one.
Okay, so that was the second one that we did then.
Because that was what, this year?
No, I've done.
Oh no, you came with the vet. You came with the vet.
I know. I was heated out there in that long ass line.
I'm sorry.
No, you came with the vet this year, so it was last year that you came. Yeah. Okay. Because I remember I came. I think for the Stance Innovators one, I was right here. It was me and Jamie.
Yeah, right on the corner.
Me and Jamie, and that was when I first met you. Because everybody's like, Nick. You know how I know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I saw you, and I was like, hey man, can I come talk to you for a second? I'm like, dude, just chill out. Don't worry about it. Like, just enjoy the day. If you have a team, let your team do what they're supposed to do. You're gonna get pulled in a bunch of different directions, but just chill out. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's gonna give you shit. Oh, I want to park here. I want to park there. I ended up moving because somebody else was parking over here. Whatever the case may be, but that was when I was like.
I think people don't realize the amount of work and stress a show is until they actually
do it.
Until they do
it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even, like, you host it, I hope, and I'm always like, Jesus Christ. And I know how you are.
Personally,
it's a lot of work.
Being involved with like photo and video production and like working in that high stress environment, but instead of it being like 250 people in their cars, it's literally just like 8 of you in a room like this big, and they're like just as mad as those 250 people, bro. It's like
it's a lot of work.
So like I'm kind of used to like a lot of things happening really quickly and like having to like navigate working with like when we're doing the production stuff, I'm working with like a designer, and then there's also like a client, and then there's also like the client's client, and then there's also somebody who gives input from their internal team. It's been so long since I've done this stuff, I can't remember all the names
what
for
is
things.
It?
But like
too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Cooks in the kitchen,
And so having come from that and then doing a car show, I don't want to say I felt at home, but like the stress and the anxiety was kind of a similar experience that I'd had before, so it wasn't something that I was like going into blind. But yeah, dude, it's a lot, and it is not for the faint of heart. And a lot of people think it's just, I got a location, come pull up.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Nah. It's not that easy. So, speaking of anxiety and how was the last show?
We had a massive line. Yeah, we had a big line. I did not I honestly, like, thank you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I did not anticipate that many people showing up to one of our events. In the past, like, I thought we've had some good turnouts, but that was absolutely insane.
I mean, you had them
all
up
the way
the street here, down the street, down the exit to leave. You had them down straight ahead,
the first one
and then almost down to the highway.
The first one I came to, they were just like, pull right up there and park in front of the building. And then the last time, I was way down there. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's when I remember I noticed my car overheated because we were sitting out here on Route 1 waiting. Did they give you guys shit for that?
No, because I get permits for the streets whenever we do it. So, like, we have the whole street for the day, or for the 6 hours that we're allotted, So, I can't really be given any shit from the town. I let all the businesses know, well in advance, like, hey, we're doing this, I have permits, like, it will be happening. Sometimes some of them still wind up with, their panties in a bunch, and they're not happy that their customers can't go there when there's a bajillion cars parked out there, but I let you know.
Did you ever think of reaching out to Gillette and using...
So, yeah, they
the real Gillette parking lot?
Yeah,
or are you going to use the one off of...
No, So yeah, back when we did the show with Stance Innovators, the lot next to us, across the street from us, was all woods and forest. The craft group wound up leveling it and putting a gravel parking lot up over there.
Yep.
There's a bunch of porta potties and lighting and stuff. I've tried to see if we could use it for our past few events. Pretty much got no answer the first few times. Last time I was told they wanted I think it was 10 or 12 grand for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And that's just
Not in
it's just
not in the budget.
feasible.
No, it's
That's
not.
like Tony
No.
money right there.
And dude, it would be one thing if it was 10 or 12 grand for the parking lot in front of the Showcase Cinema, but it's 10 or 12 grand for a gravel lot that's across the street
Yeah.
from me. It's not anything fancy, and to have to pay all that and then to be hey, you can park in this huge VIP
Yeah.
lot, but it's gravel.
Yeah, no one's gonna want to go
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah. Do you see yourselves doing another show?
I'd like to do another show.
Yeah.
I want to make one happen this year, but I honestly don't think it's going to happen. But we definitely want to do something else again. I like bringing everybody here and having people here. It's good seeing everybody, talk to each other, mingle. It's good. I like supporting, our customers and the people who support them.
Yeah.
Giving people a place to come and just hang out and
Yep.
gather.
Yep. That's kind of the motto that I have. I just want people to come and have a good time
Get the cars out.
on my watch.
Mhm.
You're safe here.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, you're safe. We have police detail. We have porta potties. We have insurance. We have just come, bring your kids, have a good time. You're safe here.
Yep.
That's what you want. Bring your car out. It's a nice day. Just come hang out for a couple of hours.
I thought the show was a good time.
Thanks, man.
That was your first one with us, right? This past year?
Yeah, that I've ended at, yeah.
Yep. What'd you think?
It's a good time, dude.
Good?
Yeah. I liked having everything kind of spread out and parked in different ways so
Yep.
everybody could open their doors and trunks and stuff, and you could actually take time to walk around everything and actually look at everybody's interior instead of just having to be what's
Yeah.
in there?
Yep, crouching in.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Do you enjoy going out as a vendor to these shows? Because even that, people don't realize, you got to get up early, you got to lug everything up, you got to set it all up. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
People think you just pull up and hang out. but
Like you
it-
have it already loaded up.
I mean, I know when I was doing shows, every night I would load everything up the night before. You got to get up early, take off. I'm like, oh god, this is a hassle.
Yeah, it's
But I enjoyed it.
It's like social media. It's another full-time
Yeah.
job, dude. But yeah, I do kind of enjoy it as well. Unfortunately, we are kind of going to have to cut back a little bit this year on the events that we're going to and whatnot.
Yep.
Hopefully we can do some more local stuff, but yeah, I mean, I like doing them. I like vending at them. I wish our wallet liked vending at them more.
That's another thing. Yeah, it's an expense too.
Yeah, well,
realize.
you got to pay for gas. You got food all day.
Possibly a hotel room.
Depending on where you're at, hotel room for a night or two.
Yep.
And then, like you said, the time to load everything up, take everything out, and then you might not get a sale.
Yep.
But you get your name out there, so
yeah.
it's kind of I guess it's kind of a trade.
When I first started doing the welding, I remember loading the whole car up, getting everything ready, driving all the way to fucking East Bumfuck, Rhode Island, and I sold $7 worth of stuff. I'm like, dude, this is such a waste.
Yep.
Do you find the different crowds of so you have old school, you have imports, you have mini truckers. Do you find one more apt to buy the Airride products than another?
The old school guys and the mini truck guys are, I feel more apt to buy from us.
Okay.
I feel the tuner guys and sort of the new school guys are more likely to buy from one of our competitors. And I feel part of that is because of our website. It's not as user-friendly as our competitors. Another part of it is I feel a lot of the old school and lowrider guys are more willing to pick up the phone, call someone, or send an email if they have a question. Whereas I'm guilty of it too. I'll just hop on the internet and I'll Google that shit until I find an answer. I'm not calling anybody. I'm not emailing anybody. I'm gonna search it out myself. And if it's too hard for me to find in one place, I'm gonna go somewhere else to find it.
Yeah. You said earlier about Manny Ramirez's car. Is there any other cars that stick out to you that you guys have either sold product for or actually worked on?
Well, yeah, been a part of the build.
Yeah.
Our shop truck got best paint at some show. I want to say it was World of the Wheels, but I could be wrong. Back when they did it in Boston, we had a gnarly flame job on it that Nate Davidson did. It was a '97 GMC Sierra crew cab. Or no, sorry, was it crew cab? Yeah, crew cab's the one with the door that opens backwards. We put suicide doors in the front, and then shave the tailgate, LED bar for the taillight, front lip, red interior, a bunch of custom interior bits. the thing was so badass, and we sold it on eBay for like $3,500. Yeah, dude. Like literally, like right before like the full size mini truck stuff started to take off again, we unloaded that thing on eBay for like nothing. Somebody stole that truck.
You don't know
Probably.
if it's still around, right? You haven't seen
I
it?
don't know if it's still around.
When we were walking through the warehouse, we seen like the horn blasters. Do you offer you offer other kind of products like you were saying, wheels and stuff like that
Yeah.
here and there? But like, what is typically products that people might not know that you offer? Like accessories, you do that?
Yeah, so like gauges, we carry those glow shift gauges. So they've got, I mean, obviously the air ride gauges are what we started carrying them for.
Yep.
They've got a digital gauge that's got 4 corner readouts, so you got your 1 gauge and you can see all 4 corners on it. So if you don't want to have 3 gauges or 2 gauges, you just run the 1.
Oh.
Yeah, and they also offer a few other digital and analog gauges, like fuel pressure and oil pressure and stuff like that. So we can get all that stuff as well. Not something we push a lot, but we can still get it. And like you said, air horns. I mean, we also just do other like small accessories like fittings, stuff for your compressor, like vibration isolators, upgraded vibration isolators.
I say I seen it today. People they're doing for the remotes. They're doing like phone covers for the remote for the
I just seen those yesterday actually.
for the
Yeah,
for the,
yeah, we've
I was doing mine and I seen a red one online.
We've been carrying KMR Designs 3D printed cases, and he also makes a few vehicle-specific mounts. He's got one for like OBS trucks and MBS trucks that like you pull a piece of the dash trim out and you literally clips in just like OEM.
Oh, nice.
And you've got your AccuAir or airlift controller mounted right up there. He's also got some universal ones, some magnetic cases too. So if you've got like a magnetic phone mount,
Yep.
the case has a piece of metal printed in it, and you can just
Nice.
plop it right up on your phone mount, so you don't need to do anything else to mount it. He's got one for a Lexus that mounts in the ashtray,
Okay.
so you can still close your ashtray, and if you don't want to see your controller, you don't have to see it. If you want to open it, there it is.
That's cool.
Now I heard you say earlier that you guys were going to possibly scale back on shows this year. We have 2 shows coming up, and I would like to personally invite Lowrider Depot to take part. We have a car meet coming up Saturday, June 14th. That one, I would like for you to just come and just hang out, because I know how stressful it is to
Bring the booth and
bring
set
all
everything
that
up,
stuff
yeah.
and do all that stuff.
I might just bring the booth for some shade.
No, it's at night.
Yeah, it's
it's
at
at
night.
night.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. The night
So,
meet,
so
all right.
I like, I understand as a business how stressful it can be to load everything up and do all that and get $20 in sale and be like, oh, yeah, this wasn't worth it. I for the night meet, I want it to be that you just come and have a good time, take some pictures, walk around, talk to people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the car show, obviously, if you'd want to set up, it's totally up to you.
Cool.
But I want to
Thanks, man. I
extend
appreciate that.
the personal invite to you.
Can you lift it up and bring it back down? I don't think I. Sounds sick too. Sounds sick.
But then, in all the years of suspension and stuff like that, in the last, whatever, you said maybe probably 20-something years, 25 years, what do you think is the biggest innovation or improvement in the suspension world?
I mean, the bolt-in air struts are great. Those being offered for so many different applications now. Like before, like you guys had mentioned, it was air cylinders, kind of just doing anything you can to make it work.
They were like universal air cylinders, and you had to
Yeah.
make
Jerry
do.
rigs
Now
and
they're vehicle
stuff.
specific. Okay.
But yeah, so now there are so many vehicles, so many different brands also that offer vehicle-specific kits for your car.
Yeah.
So like, Airlift is probably the one that is most synonymous and people are most familiar with. But we've also got brands like Air Runner, AirTech, PSI, Max Load, Universal Air is that one I would put at the forefront of innovation and quality. Like, hands down when it comes to, if I want the best stuff on the market, buy Universal Air.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of ride quality and like product quality, it's unmatched. And they're another one who's been in it for like 20, 30 years. They've been doing this for forever, and they're really great at what they do.
I feel like I usually see it's Airlift. What is it? What was the other one?
The Universal.
Universal Air and
AirTech,
AccuAir.
AccuAir.
That was
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So AccuAir.
Those are the three that I always.
AccuAir has made some big leaps in like the management area. They did partner with Universal Air back in the day to make a few vehicle-specific bag and bracket kits. And
Did one go out of business?
yeah, so
What?
AccuAir did go out of business at one point. They
remember
got
that.
purchased by Arnott shortly after that. Arnott bought them for the management stuff because they were doing like bag kits for the Bronco, Jeep Gladiator, XJ, JT, stuff like that. So you can basically like lift your Jeep
Yeah.
another 6 inches
I
and
remember
lower
the
it
meme.
another
It was
3.
Airlift on the grave like this with AccuAir. You know that meme?
Oh, the dude. Yeah.
I remember that meme. So continuing from that, do you see anything coming down the road that you see in the future? Like, wow, that's going to be big.
Yeah, so recently Jason Thorbeck has essentially taken apart a bunch of SMC valves and built a billet manifold that will allow you to raise your car with like half-inch airline and then lower it with 3/8 or half-inch. You can basically switch how fast
nice.
your car goes or
Up
truck
and down.
goes up and down.
That's cool.
So like if you want, a fast lift when you get in your car, you can get in, you push that thing, and it'll jump to height. But
That was my
when you
biggest,
want to drop it on the ground, if you don't want it to fall out of the sky
And slam-
and
slam,
hit the
yeah.
ground, then you can air it out
That was my
at
biggest thing
3/8.
when I got the Lincoln. I was like, oh, I expected it to be. Well, my Stratus was fast. I got in the Lincoln, it was like slow. I'm like, I like it because it's like gangsta, but at the same time, I'm like, I wanted to just slam it down. That was my favorite thing. When I got my Stratus, I remember I dropped it, broke my body kit immediately. I was like, ah, fuck. But that's why I can change it. I had the valves that you can change it, and I haven't seen anything like that. That's really that fast. I mean, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I mean, if you run half-inch lines with nothing in the way and you put that valve right on that bag, that
Oh,
thing will
yeah.
hop like it's got hydraulics, dude.
I remember my car. I don't remember what size airlines I had, but it was so fast that we used to put change on the back, and it used to just kick up because it would come off the ground and the change would just go. So we would just try to see how much change we could, how many we could say heads or how many we could say tails.
So
It
yeah,
would just like,
I guess we are kind of talking about the biggest advancements here because it went from like throwing change up in the air to like
just-
accurately dialing in the ride height with pressure sensors and height sensors and everything. So like, I mean, the only way I can see things getting better is if like the algorithms for the height and pressure sensors get better. Like at this point, it's literally just in the code because there's not much more physical material or things that can be made to support this, I think.
okay.
So I think that the future going forward is going to be in the technology behind it and like how advanced you can make it on that end and how many options and how user friendly you can make your UI essentially or your user interface on the controller. How deep can somebody go in and mess with all their settings and like set their ride heights and their pressure limits, their height limits, stuff like that.
Yep. So before we get out of here, how can people get a hold of you if they do have questions regarding air suspension or photography, anything like that? How can people get a hold of you? Social media or what do you?
Yeah, so the best way is give us a call. Our number is 877-698-3115, and my extension is 271. That'll go right to my cell, so I'll answer that. If I don't, I'll give you a call back on my cell. You got my number. Shoot me a text if you got any questions. You can also send us a message on social media. I'm not always super active on there outside of the hours of 9 to 5 because I like to have my own life. You can also send us an email. My email is nick@lowriderdepot.com. Or you can come down if you want. It always helps to give us a call beforehand just to make sure that somebody is here in the building and can meet with you.
Cool. All right, man. Well, thank you for giving us your time. I know you guys are closed, but we just want to say thank you for giving us your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Cool.
Coming out the night at the speed of light. I'm the strong and the trees are high.